everybody, Killer Ones here, and today I will be doing with Deku was Tristan Part 13. So, in the last part, Deku just defeated Todoroki and was about to go to his next match, which is him versus Delia. But whenever he was going towards the waiting room, that was when the world would have turned black and white, him hearing a familiar voice. Now, continuing the story, whenever Deku saw that the world turned black and white, he would have heard, "Hey Midoriya," or should I say Tristan? Deku, after hearing his name being called, and by his name I mean Tristan, he would have immediately used rebellion and create a sword. Him turning around and pointing the sword at Lancelot's neck. Lancelot, seeing that, would have put both of his hands up and saying, "Hey, it's me, Lancelot. Do you forget about me or something?" Deku saying, "Don't worry, I remember you. You're the cousin of Dahlia, right, Lancelot?" Lancelot saying, "Yeah, that's me. So can you put this sword away?" "No, I can't." Why?" "It's a safety precaution." "For what?" "For just in case if you're not who you're saying you are." "Look, it's me, alright?" "Really? Then tell me something only he would know." "Only something I would know." "Remember like 2 weeks ago we had a fight, and at the end of that fight, you blew me up with your darkness. But whenever I hit the ground, you came running in apologizing. Then you basically healed me back up with your goddess powers." Deku, after hearing that, his sword would have disappeared. Him just putting his hand back down and saying, "Okay, it is you. Good." Lancelot, being of course confused, he would have said, What's wrong?" "Nothing, just don't call me by that name." "Which one?" "Tristan." "Oh yeah, that reminds me. Is your real name Tristan or just Izuku Midoriya? Because your powers kind of don't add up." "What do you mean add up?" "I mean that symbol that appears in your eye when you use your light powers, that is a goddess symbol. And the mark that appears on your forehead when you use your darkness, that is a demon mark. Also, that technique you use to reflect attacks, that is called full counter. But the thing is, the only other person I know that has all of these powers is my old friend, Tristan. However, it has been a long time since I saw him, so I don't know if you're him." Deku, after hearing that, he would have said, "Well, the answer is yes and no." "What?" "What do you mean, yes and no?" "By yes, I mean I am Tristan, and by no, I mean I don't remember me being Tristan." Lancelot being even more confused. As Deku would continue to explain, "Yes, I am Tristan, but my memories of my childhood was sealed away, and I've only unlocked a bit of my childhood memories, so that's why I say that I am and am not Tristan." Lancelot saying, "But why was your memories sealed away?" That that's complicated. But anyway, what brings you here?" "Oh, that. I'm just here to tell you that I think Dahlia has already figured out that you are, well, Tristan." "Yes, I know. I actually told her myself." "Wait, you did?" "Well, sort of. I only told her that I was half demon, half goddess." "Oh, that's why. What did you ask? Is something wrong?" "Well, you can say that. Have you noticed that Delia is acting weird lately? Yes, a bit. I thought so. What? What is it? Well, since you basically just told Delia that you're Tristan, she is probably rethinking her life. I'm sorry, what? Delia, please don't kill me. What was that? Oh, that? Don't mind it. And long story short, Delia, yeah, she loves you. Like, a lot. Okay, wait. What? With Deku being completely surprised by Lancelot saying that Delia loves him. As Deku would have continued to say, I don't know how to respond to that. Of course you won't. But since your memories were sealed away, like you said, then let me tell you something about, what, 1,000 years ago? Deku being confused, asking, wait, 1,000 years ago? Yeah. Did you not know that fairies can live a long time? Yeah, I didn't know about that. So, sorry? Don't worry, it's fine. So, about 1,000 years ago, you, me, and Delia were very, very good friends. Since Delia's parents and my dad are a part of the seven deadly sins, they would always bring us to meet up with you and your father, who was the captain of the seven deadly sins. But even though we only meet every year, we were still very, very good friends. As Deku would have asked, but why do we only meet every year? Because your father was the Demon King, and was the one who ruled the demon world. So basically, he is very busy. But time flows differently in the demon world. So even though it has been 1 year for us, it only has been probably a day for you guys. And then about 200 years ago, whenever it was time for the meeting again, your father, he never came. We tried to contact him and remind him about the meeting, but it didn't work. We thought that maybe he was busy and didn't have time, so we continued the meeting without him. But then the next year it was the same. Your father, he was nowhere to be seen. We tried to contact him again, but just like last time, it didn't work. And this continued for 200 years. Till today, we still haven't heard anything from your father. Also, in those 200 years, Delia, she found out that she has a crush on you, but it would have been too late, because whenever she found out, we had already lost contact with you and your father. And after me basically telling her to move on and stop clinging into the past, she eventually did. As whenever she did, she went out into the human world. Deku, after hearing that, Deku would have asked, okay, so you're saying that both you and Delia are at least 1,000 years old? Uh, yes, we are. Then why do you look like a, well, 18-year-old? Oh, that is because we fairies have an ability that lets us change our appearances. But it requires a huge amount of concentration, and it also limits our, well, utilization of our powers. So most of us don't use it that much. And just so you know, Dahlia uses it every single day. What? Why? Well, maybe because that she is half fairy, half giant. So if she doesn't use it, she will be almost as tall as a building. Oh, that's why. Yeah, also, please don't tell Delia that I told you that. Okay, but why? Because if she knew it, she would kill me. Uh, okay. Is this all you have to say? Because I kind of have a match to go to. Oh, yeah, that's about it. So, good luck, I guess. Thanks. As Lancelot would have deactivated Zero Sign, but before he reactivates Zero Sign, he would have whispered to Deku saying that he will be watching him. Deku being confused as he would have turned around, but whenever he did, he would have saw no one there. Now, after that, Deku would have heard that it is time for his match, to which Deku would have immediately rushed towards the place where he was supposed to go through to enter the arena, him arriving in the nick of time. And as the fight begins, Delia would have used heavy metal, with her entire body immediately turning into, well, metal. Her rushing in and smashing Deku across the face, this making Deku stumble back, with Delia having to throw an uppercut into Deku's face, sending Deku flying up into the air. And whenever Deku fell back onto the arena, Delia would have been confused, her asking why Deku isn't fighting back and is just basically staying there doing nothing. With Deku getting back up, he would have said, "If you want me to answer your question, why don't you answer mine first?" And what would that question be, Izuku? Simple. Why do you keep avoiding me, Delia? Delia being surprised, as Deku would have continued to ask, "Is it because of something I did?" Delia whispering, "No, that's not." But before she can finish, Deku would have said, "Or is it because you're angry at me for not being strong enough to protect you?" No, that's not it. Her running in and punching Deku in the stomach, with Deku continuing to say, "Then is it because you hate me for leaving you without saying a word?" Delia, after hearing Deku say that, she would have immediately stopped, her saying, No, it's the opposite. I thought I was the one that did something wrong and made you leave without saying a word. But when I talked to you again at the entrance exam, I just felt that something is familiar. And after I saw you in action, something in my body just knew that it was you. But I just can't believe it. Because if it was you, then you would recognize me. Yet, when you basically told me that you're back, I didn't know how to react. That's why I've been avoiding you. Uh, I don't know what to do. Even now, I still don't know what to do. Deku, after hearing that, he would have just said, "It's okay, Delia. Just do what you want to do right now. If you want to punch me, then punch me." As Delia would start to walk towards Deku, with Deku opening his arms, thinking that Delia is going to punch him in the face. But whenever Delia arrives in front of Deku, she would have put both of her hands on Deku's face as she pulls him in for a kiss. This both shocking and confusing Deku and the entire stadium. By the way, whenever Delia went in and kissed Deku, her entire body went from being metal-like back into her normal self, as that was when the confusion would have turned into, well, cheering. And in the midst of the cheering, you could hear Mineta yelling, Midoriya, how could you? You traitor! With Midnight singing, young love. Anyway, are you going to continue the fight or not? Dahlia, after hearing Midnight say that, she would have pulled away from Deku and telling him that they should really continue the match. But whenever she did, she would have saw that Deku is basically stunned, since he's not moving, like at all. So he's just staying there doing nothing. Her, after seeing Deku like that, she would have sighed. Her smashing Deku across the face, this making Deku stumble back and snap back into reality. Him saying, "What was that for?" "Hey, you were the one that told me to do whatever I want, so I did." "Okay, what now?" Now we continue the match and fight. As Dahlia would have activated Heavy Metal, her smashing both of her hands onto Deku, but before she actually can smash both of her hands onto Deku, Deku would have immediately rolled out the way and dodged the attack. Him getting back up as Dahlia would have rushed forward and tried to hit Deku. Her smashing Deku across the face as Dahlia would have tried to throw another punch at Deku, but Deku would have catch that attack and throw his own. Him uppercutting Dahlia in the face. With Dahlia stumbling back, Deku would have thrown another punch at Dahlia's face, her being sent flying back, but before she gets sent flying off the arena, a stone wall would have appeared right behind Dahlia, it catching Dahlia and preventing her from being sent flying out of the arena, as whenever she got back onto the ground, she would have rushed towards Deku, Deku doing the same thing and rushing towards Dahlia. But before they can hit each other, Dahlia would have front flip over Deku, Deku being confused as whenever he looked back to see where Dahlia landed, that was when the ground underneath Deku would start to, well, shake, as a lot of vines would have shoot out of the ground, them wrapping itself around Deku and basically lifting him up in the air. With Dahlia turning around and looking at Deku to find that there is a demon mark appearing on his forehead, as whenever that happened, the vines that was wrapping around Deku would start to catch in flames. Not just any flame, is Hellblaze, with the vines being burned away by Deku's flames. Him landing back onto the ground to find that Dahlia had just disappeared, Deku being confused as that was when he would have looked up. Him finding Dahlia with her legs stretched out, and is about to smash onto Deku, as in the nick of time, Deku would have put out both of his hands to catch Dahlia's legs. Him doing so. After her attack was caught by Deku, Dahlia would have backflipped back onto the ground, and whenever she did, she would have put both of her hands onto the ground, her saying, "Double hammer!" As that was when the ground to the left of Deku and to his right would start to, well, basically shoot out of the ground and try to trap Deku between them. Deku, feeling that the ground is moving, he would have immediately jumped back, him basically avoiding the trap, but whenever he did, that was when a stone golem would have appeared right behind Deku, it punching Deku across the face. This, of course, shocking Deku. Well, not that much since it's a fight. Him immediately covering both of his hands in, well, darkness, with Deku having to one-shot the stone golem being blown into a billion pieces. As whenever he did, that was when another one would have came up right behind Deku, it smashing Deku across the face again, with Deku turning around and punching that stone golem into pieces. After that, he would have saw that Delia is creating more and more of those stone golems. As before Deku can even react, that was when a stone pillar would have shoot out of the ground and going straight towards Deku. Deku being hit by that stone pillar and pushed back. But before he gets pushed out of the arena, he would have stopped. Him cocking his right arm back and smashing it into that stone pillar. It being blown into pieces, as that was when Delia would have been confused, since she saw that Deku's demon mark is not there, and the darkness that was wrapping itself around Deku's arms are gone as well, as that was when the goddess symbol would have appeared on Deku's left eye. Him stretching his hand out with multiple light particles appearing all over the arena. Well, mostly around Thalia and around her stone golems. As whenever Deku closes his hand into a fist, that was when all of the light particles would have exploded simultaneously. This, of course, destroying all of the stone golems and creating a bit of a smokescreen. With Deku seeing Delia's shadow, he would have rushed in and tried and punch her in the stomach, which he does. But whenever he did, that was when he would have punched through Delia's stomach, him being confused, as whenever he looked up, he would have realized that it is only a, well, stone decoy. It crumbling into pieces, as Deku would have heard something running towards him looking towards that direction to see no one there, him being confused, as a leg would have appeared from behind Deku, it kicking Deku in the head, which would have sent him flying to his left. And after being sent flying away, Deku would have landed back onto the ground, him being at the edge of the arena. As before Deku tried to run back in and fight Delia again, that was when he would have heard sounds coming from, well, the smoke. This confusing Deku since there should be only one person inside there, which is, Delia. Him thinking, I knew this was a bad idea, as that was when a piece of rock would have been thrown from the smoke towards Deku. Deku, seeing that, would have immediately dodged out of the way, as after dodging that rock, more and more rocks would start to fly from the smoke and towards Deku. Deku, knowing that Delia is inside the smoke, he would start to charge up a blast of Hellblaze while dodging all of those flying rocks. With him, after dodging about 10 to 15 pieces of rock, he would have landed back onto the ground and fire a blast of Hellblaze towards that smoke, him reaching his right hand out and forming it into a fist, basically ordering that blast of Hellblaze to erupt. It doing so and immediately exploding, as whenever that ball of Hellblaze exploded, Delia, knowing that she is going to get sent flying back, she would have created a wall of, well, stone right behind herself to try and stop that. But what she didn't anticipate was that that blast of Hellblaze is a lot stronger than she thought, with her being sent through that wall of stone right behind herself and out of the arena. Midnight, seeing that Delia has been sent flying off the arena, she would have announced that Deku is the winner, as everyone in the entire stadium would start to cheer. And while the crowd was cheering, Deku would have walked up to Delia and extend out his hand, him asking Delia if she is alright or not, which she is, her extending out her own hand and grabbing Deku's, as Deku would have pulled her back onto her feet. But to Deku's surprise, whenever he pulled Delia up onto her feet, she basically jumped onto Deku, hugging him. And in the corner of Deku's eyes, he would have saw Lancelot in the crowd, well, smiling. As that will be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. That'll be amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!